that cheeky spoolie boy. Should we leave this at 550?
I had no interest in these until I drove one.
Bag butt. This is your little trick. Absolutely non-tastic.
Speed limiter, don't want that.
It's hot. Good morning, you absolute lovelies. Welcome to another fabulous day here in Englandshire. Today is a pretty cool day. If you guys remember from the Adam C video we filmed a few weeks ago.
Off he goes. Oh my god, wiggling up the road.
We met a very nice chap called Ben who had a 700 horsepower BMW M3. As expected, I knew as soon as I went in Ben's car I was going to be hungry for more power. Conveniently that afternoon, another chap called Ben came down, the owner of Hack Engineering. They're a very sort of reputable and very famous BMW tuner. I got talking with him and he has invited me today to get a few cheeky modifications done to the BMW. We're going to be doing what he calls his stage 2 Hack Engineering package. Decats, I think this car has 4 cats. It's got primaries and secondary, so Ben's going to be adding his Hack Engineering decat, which gets rid of the primary catalytic converters. He's going to be adding the Boost Mod Stage 3 map. He's going to be doing his crank hub mod. I think some of you guys probably know from other videos that these cars can suffer with crank hub failure, so he's going to be doing one of his little crank hub mods. He's going to be adding a set of colder spark plugs as well, obviously to try and make sure there's enough spark for the increased boost pressure, and that should net the car about 550 horsepower. You guys are probably saying Monky or John really doesn't need any horsepower, but anyone with a sort of boosted car, or anyone with any car, will always tell you more power is always good, especially Jeremy Carson. Quick little demonstration of what she sounds like now. I'm not going to be getting the pop and bang map. I'm not actually a big fan of pop and bangs. I think if you've got a 700 horsepower car and it's naturally making flames and pops and bangs, that's fantastic. I am interested in a little bit more noise. This car does sound fantastic. I'm actually quite happy with how it sounds now. So you can actually open and close the exhaust valve. So if you want to keep it relatively speaking quite stock, you can kind of run the non-M setting, and when you want a bit more noise and a bit more grunt and a bit more asthma, you can turn it into M mode and make some noise. Hack Engineering do all sorts of machine work, and they've been working on BMWs for an awful long time. They've got a massive reputation on the forums. I'll chuck Ben's Instagram down here if you guys want to give him a cheeky little follow. I'd really appreciate it, and I'll also put a little link to his website now if you want to check out some of the packages. He does a full array of different things for different BMWs. We've got a tunnel. Be rude not to do a little tunnel run. Anyhow, enough talking for the intro. I will see you guys down there in a bit. Right, here we are at Hack Engineering. Look at that, a couple of beautiful Zim. Here we are at wonderful Hack Engineering. You can see we're there because it says it on the door. And we've got Brad. Hello. Hi Brad. We've got Mr. Ben, the owner of Hack Engineering. Look at these cars, man. What an absolute legend you are, dude. We've got Mr. Alex. Sir, you predominantly concentrate on engine building.
Yeah, engine building mainly. Alex is a bit of a wizard machinist. Yeah, so,
yeah, we just go for that.
Very cool. He's being modest.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
And then Brad.
Brad's tech, so you've got 2 BMWs at the moment. Got experience, through dealerships. You want to come here to.
So basically, you're all BMW nuts.
Yeah.
As we can kind of tell, man. Before we kind of start doing the work on the F80, why don't we just go through a few of the cars?
Yeah.
The first thing I can spot is that gorgeous, obviously I've got an E30 project, which hopefully we're going to do some work on soon. Yeah. And I can see it's got a bit of a spoolie boy.
Yeah.
Very cool, man.
So he's an M50 non-Vanos, the earlier engine, which is stronger. He was one of my first customers when Hack Engineering started. Had a turbo on a standard bottom end and blew that up. So now it's 2.9 litre forged.
In such a lightweight E30 chassis, it's going to rip.
Yeah, and it's cool because it's full interior and it's a bit of a sleeper really. So everything's hidden pretty much on it.
Yeah, cool, man. Look at that cheeky spoolie boy. And I'm loving it as well. Still got like the checkered interior.
Yeah.
Look how pimp that looks.
A standard steering wheel.
Got some JDM, HKS,
yeah,
SSQV.
So Phil, who owns it, I think he used to have an S14, and I think that's obviously probably left over from that or something.
Yeah, very cool, man. Over here, very cool, man, because I used to have a few E36 M3 saloons myself. And it's got Rizzler on the side.
Yeah.
Not going to say too much about that, but...
He does a lot of track days in it. I think his plan is to do sort of a couple a week for the rest of the year.
Yeah, it looks really naughty, man.
It's got Milway Motorsport control arms. Literally everything is adjustable or solid or absolutely properly sorted. Still the S50, but high compression cam. The engine really wasn't actually very healthy once we took it apart.
Basically came in for a clutch bearing and it went a bit out of control after that.
Like seats, bell housing bolt, and then it's I've got to take the engine out to get that out. So it's right at the top, and it's head gasket weeping a bit. The head gasket, and then you take the head off, and the boards are all pretty worn. Screw it, go on, get some pistons
before you know it, it's turned into like a mad track build.
Yeah, and Dave, he loves that car so much, he's happy to do it, and he's going to love it even more afterwards. So he's sort of the best kind of customer. He's really hopeful. Big
set of brakes on it as well. Big set of calipers and discs at the back. Pretty crazy looking roll cage, bucket seats, Alcantara wheel, flop dash. Oh man, and carbon fibre door cards. And you guys were also saying he's going with like carbon fibre doors as well?
I believe so, yeah. I think he's got carbon fibre doors for it, various fiberglass bits.
And I love these spoilers as well. These are the GT wheels?
GT, yeah.
Estorial blue, I'm taking it like the E46 over there?
Yeah, and his son Josh has also got an Estorial blue E46 M3 that we built an engine for that. Like both of them just do track days non-stop.
Sick, man. What a cool father and son combo.
Yeah.
We got Brembos on the rear, Brembos on the front, Nankang AR1s, sticky tyres, lovely motorsporty rims as well. Nitron coilovers as well.
Yeah, Nitron coilovers, true rear coilovers set up. Literally you name it, upper arms, just below arms, all like billet bits that we supply.
Proper track weapon.
Yeah, it is.
E46, BMW M3, Estoril blue again. Lovely looking motorsporty rims, really like those.
Yeah, so Apex ARC8s, which we supply. This one's just been in for big end bearings, which are a really bad problem with these.
This is S54?
Yeah, correct, so still 3.2 litre, but slightly bigger and just a fair bit more advanced. So they're sort of 340 horsepower standard.
And I can see as well it's got like an Alcantara wheel and a few little trick bits
in the interior, it's a really nice car. All the interior's got sort of various Alcantara touches to it and KWV3s.
Oh, nice set of coilovers.
Millway top mount. So
I will say now, this F80 M3 is I've never driven one before and I wasn't sure if I kind of like it. It's a fantastic chassis, but a lot of enthusiasts really see the E46 as the last true M3. What's your opinion?
Yeah, to an extent. I think obviously the one after was V8, which they seem to. They're a mega car, but they've got their own little following, kind of separate.
I think they're very cool, the V8 ones, especially when you get them in manual.
Yeah, they're really cool. They're quite different to these, but
real contrasting.
Yeah, they're just that bit bigger.
I'm not open to everything. I mean, I think that's fantastic. I've had a few of these. But I didn't realise you were sort of telling me those F80s are all fully forged from factory. It's quite a special engine, the S55.
They're quite, they're strong.
When I had Define Coding come down, they did all the GTS bits and bobs on it, changing
it.
I mean, literally, before it was like a firm 8 out of 10, and after that, wow, what a difference, man, really good. It's going to go 20 out of 10, I reckon. And we've already been discussing maybe potentially putting turbos on it in the future. We're going to see how we go from today, see if John likes the power increase, which I'm sure he will.
We'll have a good look over the car as well, just make sure everything's in good health and it's a good starting point. And
happy days, man.
Go from there.
And then we'll go for 1,000 horsepower.
Yeah.
I did actually get this wrong on the way in. I thought it was an E21. That's actually the 3 Series. This is an E28.
Yeah. So it's 5 Series. So it's an M535i. This has just been restored. It's a bit dusty out here, but it's having high compression cam, individual throttle bodies, massive trumpets.
Keeping it all naturally aspirated, like its roots.
Yeah.
I'll chuck Ben's and Alex's YouTube, Danny. If you guys want to check it out, give them a little subscribe. I'm sure they'll really appreciate it.
Yeah.
And this is Ben's car, which, oh, hello, one sec, we've got a little doggy. Hello. Oh, you're beautiful. John took it for a quick little round of Mexico.
Yep. Got our charge cooler on it and charge pipes and downpipes and various other bits that we've retested with it.
Yeah.
Litco hybrid turbos, and yeah, it should be a bit of an animal.
Yeah, Litco, if you're watching, if you could send me some turbos, that'd be fabulous. Let us know what you guys think in the comment section. Should we leave this at 550 or should we make it higher? Ben was actually telling me they're going to be putting a BMW bike engine in this which I believe was 1000cc. Was it 1000cc, Brad?
Yeah, it is K100.
K100, okay.
1000cc, and that's a 16 valve one.
What will it rev to?
I think they're not like massively high revving bike engines. I think like 9.5.
Okay, still though, mad for something like that little imp. It's pretty.
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah. I mean, it's going to weigh like 700 kilos.
Mad, man.
And you get turbo kits from it as well.
Oh,
It's
man.
Like, I think you can get up to about 180 brake.
Crazy, man. Audience are going to go mad for this stuff, man. You guys are a bit of a sort of British hidden gem, aren't you?
Go that far.
You're being modest now, but we can kind of see with the quality of the cars here is pretty next level, and that does make me a little bit weak at the knees. I'm not going to lie, man. As you guys can see, F80 is now on the ramp. Should we just go for a couple of sort of preliminary bits before the car goes up in the air?
Yeah. We're doing a stage 2 package on this today. So decat downpipes, they're the big restriction point on these. K&N air filters, different spark plugs. Also the sort of main issue with these engines, the only thing that they seem to really struggle with is the crank hub spinning. So we do a kit that basically holds the bolt tight, which we'll go into sort of as we get into it. But yeah, one of those, and then some software, and it should trip it up to sort of 540, 550 horsepower.
Quite interesting on these as well. They've got a charge cooler rather than having a conventional sort of front mount, which is air to water.
Yeah, air to water. BMW wanted to keep it responsive. So basically the charge air comes straight up from the turbos across here, and then the throttle body's literally just down there, so it's a really short track straight over the engine.
You've kind of been swayed a little bit, haven't you? Because like you said, you prefer the sort of older stuff, but now you're kind of warming to the new stuff.
I had no interest in these until I drove one.
Me too.
Yeah.
M4s are lovely cars, I'm sure lots of happy owners out there, but there's just something about the 4-door. It's kind of a bit reminiscent to the E36 saloons I used to have, but I just think it's quite an understated fast car.
Yeah.
Cool, exciting times ahead. So I think we're just going to let the engine cool down from the little bit of John action we had on the way, and yeah, in a second we will get the car in the ramp and commence progress. As you guys can see, the car is now in the air. The boys have taken a few bits off under the bonnet. When the car comes back down, we'll kind of show you what they've done. Now we're about to basically remove the stock primary cats.
Yeah, so these up here, you can't even really see them because there's so much going on in these, but you've got 2 big primary cats, and basically they're really restrictive. Really, if you're looking for any sort of decent power gain, set of downpipes, so we do our own catless downpipes, which are like 3-inch stainless steel, all TIG welded, fit, direct swap, and then that will throw up a check engine light, but with the software we're doing anyway, we can code all that out. It makes a massive difference in even just sort of turbo response, really. They spool up so much quicker.
Yeah, cool. Brad's just basically getting all the bits out the way so they can start doing their crank hub modification. Obviously there's a lot of stuff in the way, so the main objective really, I guess, is just creating the space so they can get their hands down there.
There's a lot going on, so you've got fuel rail here, direct injection, Valvetronic as well, so they've got variable, they've got Vanos and Valvetronic, so variable valve timing and lift on the intake. So much going on. When you get them apart, they're a pretty scary looking thing.
Yeah, it does look it's a bit of a bird's nest, isn't it?
Yeah, there's a lot. There's so many sensors and everything, which obviously is why they work so well.
Crazy in these as well. If you look up here, this is the oil cooler setup. It's pretty comprehensive. I think Ben was kind of telling me before, someone ran over a Badger?
Yeah, I think he ran over a Badger and punctured the oil cooler because it is literally right at the bottom.
Yeah.
So on these you've got radiators behind here on both sides. You've got another radiator at the top, aircon, charge cooler, and then basically the only room they had was underneath. So
mad.
the air kind of pulls down, sort of down through it.
Oil cooler is now out of the way. Oh, look at that! It's even a fag butt. 2 fag butts, man.
Yeah, this is pretty good. Most of them, they're literally just full all the way across.
Yeah. This is your little trick.
So yeah, this slides over the main crank bolt, which, as we explained earlier, is the only thing that really holds the crank hub together. And then these bolts go through the crank pulley. Basically what that means is obviously that can't turn, so the bolt can't come loose with that. I'd say sort of 9 times out of 10, unless you're running massive power, that stops you having a massive engine failure. So yeah, nice and simple, but does the trick. These were finished literally yesterday. We did them in Plain Alley before, but yeah, we sort of did half the batch in Plain Alley, half like this. So yeah, they look really good. I'm really pleased how they come out.
Yeah. Right, Mr. Brad is just doing up the crank fixture plate. Now he's just torquing it up, making sure she's all at the correct torque settings. Mr. Brad, it's probably going to seem like this was very quick, what just happened, but you just spent probably a good hour just putting basically all the bits of trim back.
Yeah, we've got the fan shrouds back in, under front, under tray back on, coolant pipes all sort of clip back into place, belts back on, obviously because you can't take it off, you try to do it with the belts and so you're going to fly your pulley across.
Yeah.
I'm just going to move on to the decat pipes now, so we've obviously dropped out the mount because we've got low exhaust. We're going to have to undo this rubber bracket here, and then there's two big V bands up there, so we're going to undo them, and then theory is if it all goes to plan, they should just sort of slide out the hole.
Drop out,
so,
yeah.
And then the new ones go back in.
While Mr. Brad is just loosening up the original downpipes or the original cats, Ben's going to quickly show us inside his engine room.
We do tons of engines. We've got a full machine shop in house, so literally we do engines from start to finish. We'll strip them down and do all the machine work. So this is a E30 M3 engine. Obviously we've done the engine in that. It's a M50 turbo, which is slightly sort of, you know, that's more 80s, they're more 90s.
Yeah, this has got to be worth a pretty penny. E30
yeah,
M3's are next level money.
Yeah, this one is sort of more of just a refresh, but then we're doing another one that's a 2.7 litre stroker. Literally, he's throwing everything at it. That's kind of what we do. And then we've got an engine building room, which obviously I like clean room.
Yeah. Let's have a little look.
Full M that's outside.
Cool.
Came to us with minor issues, and we delved deeper, and everything's knackered on it basically. That's an M50 turbo, so a bit like the one that's in that E30 up there.
Yeah, got you, mate.
Stroke to 3 litre, and that'll be turbo. He's aiming for like 900 horsepower, so pretty
it's
mad.
be a mental build.
That's an M54 over there, so that's from
335.
Yeah, correct. Yeah. Again, he's aiming for 700-800 horsepower plus.
Crazy. Some of these BMW motors can push some big figures, can't they?
Yeah, they have to be done right. I think a lot of people think that they can do it just
stick a
easily.
massive Whistler on it off you go, but there's a lot more to it.
Yeah, there is. That engine down there is from a V8 M3, so that's sleeved and all forged, based on this up there. And that's supercharged, that should be like 700 horsepower.
Camshafts, pistons, con rods. All sorts of madness going on here. Alex, you're working on a Z4.
Z4M, so it's an S54, pretty much the same as the 46 M3.
Yeah. Special cars, man. What are they going for these days? Quite a lot of money.
Like 75 grand.
Really, that much?
Yeah. The Z3M Coupe is like one off. They haven't done anything like it since or before, so definitely a favourite of both of us, really, I think.
And then Alex, you're the one that does what? You do all the machining.
Yeah, so I came in sort of machining based. Big old lathe. A Colchester drum if you want me to bore you silly.
No, I really like it, man. I'm sure there's a few technical guys in the audience.
You know, mid-70s lathe, still going strong. If anyone knows anything about machining, these are the puppies to have.
This machine is a mill?
That's correct. So it's called a Bridgeport. They're pretty well known the world over. They still make them in this shape, even though it was first designed in like late 50s or something.
Crazy.
They make that in Taiwan. Pretty universal machine. So drilling out broken studs, that sort of thing, to make an intricate pass.
This is for like sort of skimming heads and stuff?
Yeah, that's it. So if you overheat your car, generally the cylinder head's going to warp a bit.
Yeah.
To a point, obviously you can just resurface it flat.
Yeah, cool.
So that's what that does there.
You got all the gear. And I noticed in the back, we were talking about earlier, you used to have a 3-wheeled car.
Yes, correct.
Look at this thing, man. This thing is... And you said you had this when you were 17, 18?
I think, looking back now, it must have been like 18, 19.
God, that's mad! And this is like a sort of custom kit car?
Yeah, it's like a kit car. Yeah, it's a death trap, really. Yeah, it was all good till the front wheel fell off and almost killed me.
You must have ripped all your mates in their whatever they were driving back then.
Yeah, like absolutely, rapid.
Certainly interesting car, man, especially for a sort of young lads.
Yeah.
As you guys can see, they are pretty much equipped to do all manners of BMW stuff. Brad has got the exhaust out of the way, and here comes the one of the cats.
That's it.
Call that a honeycomb, that, don't they?
Yeah, it's just the idea it catches particles and obviously makes the emissions cleaner for the vehicle, but obviously also at the same time it's very restrictive. Turbo comes out, obviously its next thing it's going to have this like blockage.
It's almost like a bit of a bottleneck.
Yeah, basically, yeah, so it just slows down exhaust flow, which obviously creates more heat in the turbos, and if the exhaust gas can't get out as fast, obviously it slows down the spool. Obviously, yeah, putting a decat pipe on will give you faster spool and that extra performance.
Yeah, should definitely notice it once it's back on the road.
Oh, 100%.
We'll have a quick little walk around that. So we put them sort of side by side?
Yeah, we've got...
This is the other cat as well, so you guys can kind of have a little look at what the original F80 downpipes look like. And these are the new numbers from Hack Engineering, obviously minus the cats.
obviously see the increase of the flow rate. It's going to be flying through that.
A
So
nice
yeah.
obviously V-band fitment as well, which is standard
Yeah,
on the
nice
car.
fit. Obviously all TIG welded as well.
Yeah. I'll give you guys a quick little closer inspection at the decats. Absolutely non-tastic. The shorter one here. The guys in a second will also remove the sensors from the old downpipes and chuck them in the new downpipes. First downpipe is now up in place. This is the tighter of the two, so it's a little bit fiddly to sometimes get it up there, but Brad's done a nice job in getting it all fixed. Now he's just sliding up the second one into place. Bit easier the second one.
A little bit, it's just fiddly to get them slid over the V-bands and secret because they actually slightly sit inside the turbos, obviously to make that airtight seal. So
you can kind of get a nice sort of perspective from this angle of what it all looks like. That's the downpipes now in place. Brad's just trying to basically locate all the wiring for the lambda sensors. Brad's just tightening up the last bolts on the downpipes. While he's doing that, we're going to quickly go and show you what is probably a big forte of the old hack engineering business. Oh, this is pretty pimp up here, but look at this is posh.
So that's our, since we started doing video editing, that's our like editing corner.
That's your editing, that's where the poor bastard like me has to go and sit for 12. People don't really realise the amount of time it takes to edit video. 205 GTI.
Yeah, so
very sick, man.
So that's me in the passenger seat when I was like 16, co-driving in a rally.
Doing a jump.
We got loads of people we work with for racing, but we need to get pictures sorted, but that's one of them. He's actually sold that car now, but
that's cool, man.
Yeah, and S54 engine stuff, bike we built, so a friend of ours racing there.
You are a bit of an avid bike. I noticed that when you come down, you're a bit of an avid bike rider.
Yeah, it's just anything with an engine really.
Yeah, man.
This is, again, it's a bit of a mess, but this is like where all our parts are.
Yeah, cool.
So we've got tons, we've got like packing area up here.
And you make a lot of stuff in-house as well, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, we make loads of bits. So like these, for example, we like make all of those. Doesn't apply to a DCT M3, but where the clutch pivot, sort of clutch arm pivots in the gearbox. The BMW one's plastic, they're metal, fixes that problem. It's just like loads and loads of little bits like that, trying to fix stuff, make it more reliable.
ARP sort of studs and bolts up there.
Tons of ARP, stuff in stock, king bearings.
Alley rads and all sorts of bearing stuff. And I noticed you've got bushes, Powerflex bushes.
Yeah, Powerflex bushes. Millway Motorsport, so we're the UK distributor for Millway Motorsport who do loads of bushes and top mounts and bits like that, especially for M3 and M4.
Lots of Miller's oil.
Yeah, good stuff. Mailer, Arrow, you name it, we do it. If if it's a BMW part, then we probably stock it.
Bit of a BMW mecca, aren't you? Let's be honest.
Try, we do our best.
Yeah, it's really cool, man. CP pistons and got lots more genuine parts around here as well.
Kitchen. Our little kitchen.
Do you even do like a bit of food for customers?
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah, it's nice to see, man. And no doubt we've got a bit of a bird's eye down into the workshop.
Yeah.
It's quite a big size actually.
We only moved here at the beginning of the year and we already have like outgrown it.
We're big now, but
yeah, it's like always growing. Just can't really keep up. Need more people. But
yeah, you and Alex smashing the game by the looks.
Yeah, doing our best.
I also said about your website as well, which we'll chuck down there.
Yeah, and we
got a lot of stuff on there.
We literally ship 20-30 orders a day of all around the world. Yeah.
Cool, man. Sending out all those British noms. It's nice to see.
Yeah, it keeps us busy.
Right, Mr. Brad has finished everything. Downpipes are now back in place, and you sorted out all the additional wiring as well.
Yeah, just it's a case of just sort of clipping it back in the clips and tidying it all back up again and bolting the exhaust up, make sure it's tight. Next thing for obviously the tuning package again, so another set of spark plugs got to be fitted, air filters, run it up, make sure everything's airtight, and then put the map on it and we're good to go.
Now that it's all been bolted back up in place, new decats and downpipes looking absolutely fabulous. If you guys have never seen a pretty much stock F80 exhaust, this is what it looks like. That's actually the secondary cats which we're leaving in place because A, they're not a massive restriction, and B, I don't want the car overly loud. That's another little box section there, all the way back to the stock back box. Pretty cool with these as well. You get the little black exhaust tips, and this is actually like the how you open and close the exhaust valve. So when the car is in non-M mode, it basically closes this valve off and diverts the air into the back box here.
Yeah, it comes through this side obviously where the bigger silencer is to just muffle it down a little bit, obviously so it's not loud, and then obviously when you plant it or you obviously change onto sport mode, this opens the valves which diverts the exhaust instead of going just through here, which is obviously a lot smaller silencer, which obviously gives you the more roar from the exhaust system.
And more of a sort of direct path as well, so a little bit less back pressure.
Yeah, a little bit more power, I guess you get out of it as well.
Brad's now got all of the old plugs out and he's just starting to put the new ones in.
Iridium plugs, just slightly cooler burning, bit of special spark plug grease, which just helps them.
Helps them go back in.
Yeah, it just stops them also ever seizing up in the block. We'll start by hand, obviously. Don't want to get cross-threading a spark plug.
Yeah, good man, especially on a lovely motor like this. Brad's now put the aluminium strut base back in place. He's just finishing up all the bits, and he's going to be putting the intakes back in and the K&N filters. Mr. Ben is just loading up the Boot-Mod 3 software.
It's really easy to use. It's one of those things where customers are really scared to buy a license key from us and use it themselves, but actually,
It's quite
literally,
easy to use.
if you can log into Windows, you can do it.
This is my map all downloaded.
Yeah, essentially, so we've got the standard map here, which is literally what it's running now, completely factory map, and then you've got your stage 2 93 octane, which showing last flash here is just basically showing that's what's on the car at the moment.
Yeah.
So we can open this one. All we do to flash it straight onto there is click flash.
Yeah, cool.
But what we'll do is we always go in and kind of tailor it to the customer. So you can literally change pretty much everything you could really want.
And this won't change some of the gearbox and the diff settings.
No,
this
there
is
is
literally just for the engine.
You can do GTS, gearbox software, everything through this, but because you've already got it, rather than mess around with that, I'll just leave it alone, and that won't change it.
That's cool.
So you've got exhaust burble. You basically, for most bits, you've got, well, OTS would just be boot mod's kind of suggested settings. The M4 GTS has quite a sort of nice roar to it when you start up. You can put that on. Max cooling mode, you might want that for a track car. That literally just turns all the fans, all the water pumps on. We'll just leave that off.
That's something we can maybe turn on if I go and do a track day in the car.
Yeah, cold start. So these make quite a racket when you start them up cold. And that's mainly to warm the cats up, those primary cats, but they're gone. So to be honest, I generally get rid of that if you don't have any objections.
Yeah, cool.
It's,
turn it off.
It makes it nice and quiet, doesn't annoy the neighbours so much.
The only other thing we're going to change now is actually boost by gear, and you were suggesting maybe 20% reduction in first gear, 10% in second, and on third onwards full send.
That works quite well. John's quite an aggressive driver, so probably want a bit of want it to kick up a bit, but that just makes it a little bit more
drivable.
Well, basically
otherwise
easier to live
it's
with.
going to be wheel spin city.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, you can limit all the way up to 6th gear, if you really want.
Yeah.
That's kind of your lot with that.
Happy days, man.
Just makes it nice. There's plenty you can tailor for the car and customer sort of thing.
So next step, really, I can see Brad is on the case with the K&N air filters. Very cool. And then once they're in, we can start her up and see what she sounds like.
Yeah.
That's the stock filters. That's the K&N there. You can see the slightly wider gaps to kind of aid with a little bit more airflow. These are actually lifetime filters, but obviously it's highly recommended to kind of give them a clean.
Yeah, give them a clean like once a year or something. Like when you do your service, generally just keep an eye on them. And you put fresh air filter oil on, which helps the real fine dust particles stick to it. So it's also obviously entering your engine, which you definitely don't want.
Like we said, it's not going to be kind of overly loud, a little bit of an enhanced tone, but the main thing really is here is to add the extra ponies. Exceptional work, I must admit. I'm glad that Ben kind of took me out in his car, and I knew as soon as I went in the car and saw it, I would want more.
Sweet,
And now we've got more. Massive thanks to you, Ben.
For now.
Brad, absolute legend for doing some top draw work. Mr. Alex.
I didn't do a lot, really.
Yeah, but you did some cool engineering stuff, and you cycled around the world and did 22,000 miles.
That's also true. And the camera wouldn't be on the vehicle, would it?
Yeah, very commendable. You guys have been absolute stars. We are going to contact the turbo company at some point and possibly consider some more power. But first of all, we'll go and experience it now, see what it's like, and I'll report my findings. Yeah, massive thanks to these guys. If you guys give them a cheeky little follow to say thank you, really appreciate it. And we will see you soon. Peace. Right, all sorted. So yeah, what a massive bunch of absolute legends, those lads. I'll give you guys a little demonstration of what she sounds like now and how well she goes with near on 550 horsepower. Yeah, she's definitely tail happy, that's for sure. Oh, she picks up much quicker now. You really feel the power benefits already. try and enjoy the car for a little bit, and then we'll look to maybe do the turbos and the springs and the spacers. So yeah, some future cool modifications coming up on the F80, that's for sure. 100% I'm going to need new tyres pretty soon. Golfies. Little German club going down there, a couple of cool looking Golfs. Anyway, as always, I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. Lots more F80 content coming up. Massive shout out to the lads at Hack Engineering, and I look forward to seeing you all soon. Peace.